through July 3rd, 2009, I attended the National Baptist Convention that was held in Detroit, Michigan. The class I took was To Death Do Us Part, and my instructor's name was Dr. Rosalie. I also participated in the youth rally in the theater department. This year we went to the youth rally preparatory class, in which I participated in the theater department versus the choir. There were so many talented youths that participated and gave their very best. We presented a skit that was based on the change in America and how Christians can have a positive influence regarding this change. The positive influence a Christian can have is to pray for our leader, support him, not to speak or say any negative things about him, and etc. My particular part in the skit was a teenager who expressed how a grandmother couldn't believe that a black president had come into office. It was a very small part, but I brought my A game. My class, To Death Do Us Part, Dr. Rosalie discussed marriage. Dr. Rosalie talked about sacrifices, compromises, acceptance of flaws, habits, and she even shared some of her own personal experiences with her late husband, Dr. Avery Lee. Dr. Rosalie referenced to 1 Corinthians 7 a lot. Although I'm not considering or thinking about marriage right now, it was good to sit under the teaching of Dr. Rosalie, who possessed a lot of wisdom in this area. Thank you, Union Grove, for sending me to the BTU Congress and giving me the opportunity to receive wisdom to help strengthen my spirituality.
Good morning. While I was in Detroit, Michigan at the Sunday School Baptist Convention, my class was hip-hop culture, and I learned that all music is not good for us. Some examples are rap, hip-hop, and R&B. Some gospel artists have even tried to turn this type of music into gospel music, but gospel music doesn't consist of talking about women taking their clothes off or having cussing in it. Our teacher taught us that we need to be careful of the type of music we listen to, because Satan is trying to capture our minds through music. Friday night was the youth rally. This took a lot of time and hard work, but in the end, it really was a great night. Overall, I had a good time. I love the youth rally and my class. I would like to thank the church for allowing me to go. Amen.
Good afternoon. While at the BTU Congress, I took a class called To Death Do Us Part, Preparing for Christian Marriage. And the instructor was Rose Lee. She's a very strong woman because in the years past, she and her husband taught the class, but he passed a couple months before Congress, but she still taught the class anyway. God gave her the strength to be able to do it. And Mrs. Lee told us exactly what the Bible says. God instituted, approved, and established marriage so the man would not be alone in Genesis chapters 1 and 2. Broken order into marriage in Genesis chapter 3 with the serpent and Eve. Society's view of marriage basically contradicts what God says. They're domestic partners instead of husband and wife now. The love between husband and wife should be the same as that between Christ and the church, found in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 through 33. Many people jump into marriage, but before making this decision, people should think, is it worth their time and investment? In marriage, there should be set limits and trust. Also, there should be no need to endure a bad relationship. At the end of the Congress every year, there's a youth rally, and where youth have the opportunity to praise God in many different art forms. This year I danced, and it was a good experience. I never thought I'd dance in front of so many people. One of my many accomplishments. I would like to thank the church for the opportunity to attend the Congress, and I received some good information that will help me later in life.
Good morning. On our trip to the BTU Congress in Detroit was very interesting. On the way, we heard that the girls on the van had a musical presentation by Pastor Taylor. When we arrived, our first class was the youth rally. I decided to do choirship. My next class was then From Boys to Men. The main passage was 1 Corinthians 13:11, which basically says, when you're a child, you act as a child, and when becoming a man, you put away childish things. The instructor also talked about temptation of children nowadays and how we should flee from them. In our free time, the children gathered in one room and just had fun. We met new people. Although it was a learning experience, we still had a good time. Thank you. Good afternoon. June 21st, 2009, I attended the National Baptist Training Convention. There I had the experience of being in a youth rally choir and taking a class from boys to men, how to become a strong Christian black man. Our teacher started the class with 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, and I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish things away. He told us the devil would try to lead us away from God, and there would be many temptations in life. He said run away from temptations, and everything we need is in the Word of God, and that we should walk with God and pray every day, and read our Bible every day. We also attended and participated in the youth rally, where thousands of kids sung with our director, Bernard Williams II. There were a lot of kids, and we put on a great show. In conclusion, I would like to thank Union Grove Missionary Baptist Church for sending me to Detroit, Michigan for the National Baptist Training Convention.
It just blesses my heart to have our young people to come and intelligently give us reports from their participation in the National Congress on Christian Education. I was asked initially when I started to contact the young people, one had asked, well, we all went to the same class, and just one of us give a report for everybody. I said, no, I said, that's not quite it. I said, when you're in school, you all are under the same teacher in the same class, but if you have essays, one person don't do the essay for everyone. Everybody has to do it, has to do it for themselves. So it's good that our young people stood today to give a report on their experiences. And I thank God that Union Grove affords this opportunity not only the young people, but also the adults to go to the National Baptist Convention, Congress on Christian Education. So this is just a sample of what the young people experienced and what they learned. We still have a few reports left of young people that are going to come to bring reports. So let's give God a hand for all that they've done.